Hey guys, Creepy Oz here, and tonight I've got a story for you guys. One that's a little, shall we say, out of the ordinary. I tell a lot of spooky stories on this channel. I tell of many eerie, haunting experiences. Never did I imagine that I would wind up living my own. Okay, let's jump back a bit. Back to where it all began. It was a normal evening. Nothing strange or abnormal about it. By memory, I guess it would have been around 8 p.m. I had just finished up my own YouTube uploads for the day, and I'd prepared myself a nice warm cup of tea, and I was settling in to listen to my favourite true scary stories narrator, Papa Scare. Excited for the new upload that I'd been notified of a few hours earlier, I opened up my YouTube app, popped in my headphones, and tapped on the video. Before setting my phone down, I decided to keep on watching while the intro played out. These were always cool, and I love seeing the unique visuals and the eerie slogans that Papa comes up with for each new upload. As the creepy-looking television came into view and began to flicker, I felt a weird chill. Man, Papa's really getting good at these, I thought to myself, as the weird feeling continued to build in my gut. He really knows how to set the atmosphere. My admiration, however, was in a split second replaced with a genuine sense of unease as Papa Scare's distorted intro voice came gurgling in through my headphones.
Did you remember to lock the doors?
Lock the doors? What? There was something about that message, and something about the way he said it, that just drilled a fear into me like I've never felt before. Not the kind of fear you get from watching a scary movie or, in this case, listening to a scary story, but a real, genuine fear. A primal fear. A danger-present fear. Despite these feelings, I once again put it down to Papa just being an exceptional showman and setting the stage just right. It was what came next, however, that made me actually get up and check the doors. On that glitchy little television screen, as the static flickered between grayscale bars and lines, just for the shortest of moments, I saw something that made me bolt upright from my couch and run to check the doors. In the midst of the grainy overlay, I swear, I saw my own front door. I still can't be certain, as it was just there for a mere flash before it disappeared. And a door is a door, you know? But it just looked so familiar. I ran to the front door to check that it was locked. Check. I ran to the back door. Check. I ran to the side door. That same feeling of dread filled me once again as the door opened with ease. I have no idea how that happened, as I know I locked all the doors earlier, but I didn't waste any time thinking about it. I slammed the door shut, locked it, and pulled the chain. I felt a little bit silly, actually. All this craziness spawning from some sound effects and visuals that Papa Scare randomly put into his video. I felt like a child who had just watched When a Stranger Calls for the first time. Checking around the apartment and seeing that everything was in fact okay. No murderers, no psychopaths, no ghosts or ghouls. I began to breathe easy again. I returned to the couch, took a sip of my tea, and resumed the episode.
Story number 1. Footsteps in the dark. It was around 8 p.m. at night where I lived. I want to mention here that I live in a small, 2-bedroom apartment with only 3 entrances. All 3 doors, I know, were locked tight.
Okay. Weirdly coincidental. But surely just that, right? The story continued.
It was then, in the darkness off to my right, I swear I heard footsteps coming from the empty guest room.
What? Okay. Things are going from weird to wild now. Maybe it was just some really great sound effects Papa added to the story. But no. No way. I am sure I heard footsteps. In my apartment. Exactly as the story described. As if the story were narrating my life. I jumped up off the couch immediately, not even bothering to pause the video this time. I flicked on every light in the apartment and walked around to every corner, opened every closet, checked under every bed. Nothing. Nothing there whatsoever. This was insane. Clearly I was overreacting. It must have just been some damn fine audio editing from Papa. Yeah, that's it. Just some crazy realistic sound effects, designed to give the listener this very experience. Coming back to my seat on the couch, I put in my headphones again, just in time to hear the bell tower sound effect, indicating the beginning of a new story. I thought about going back and finding the part I left off, but I couldn't be bothered scrubbing back through and trying to find my spot. And besides, I certainly didn't want to hear those ominous footsteps again. So I left it and settled in for the next story.
Story number 2. Whispers from the Void. This story takes place in a small town in northern Australia.
I raised an eyebrow. I happen to live in a small town in northwest Queensland. Okay, it's beginning to feel like he's doing this on purpose. Ha ha, very funny, Papa. You got me. Well, I'm not falling for it anymore. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the story this time.
It was quite a normal evening. Nothing strange or abnormal about it. A quiet night too. I'd finished up my work for the day. I was just sitting around, relaxing. Nothing to do and nowhere to be. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I felt a change in the air.
I was doing okay up until then, but it was very difficult to deny the sudden change in the atmosphere. It's difficult to describe. You know that feeling you get when you're all alone? Maybe you're walking home after dark. Those situations where you feel particularly exposed and vulnerable. That's the feeling I felt, creeping up my spine, as Papa continued narrating what was beginning to truly feel like a real-life ghost story.
I felt this feeling of dread, slowly creeping up my spine, up my back, up my neck, until finally from right behind me, yet seemingly miles away, I heard an echoing whisper.
Get out of my house.
No way in the world, no way. There is no way that this guy is that good. Not only did that voice sound like it was actually coming from right behind me, but I felt it. Yes, I felt it on the back of my neck. A gush of hot breath, drifting over my skin and sending a rush of fear straight to my heart, which was pounding at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I leapt out of my seat, running to the front door, twisting the lock and running outside as fast as I could into the cool night air. It was freezing, but I didn't care. Anything was better than being inside that house. Inside with that thing, whatever the hell it was. I had no idea what I was dealing with, be it an entity of some sort, or some kind of supernatural phenomenon, somehow morphing fiction into reality around me. I didn't care to find out. Whatever it was happening inside that apartment. and I was staying as far away from it as I possibly could. Slowly steadying myself, I flicked on my phone's flashlight. It was dark outside, pitch black almost, and it was raining. I slowly used the weak but effective beam of light to guide myself out back to the small outdoor shelter in the backyard. It wasn't anything flash, but heck, it was enough to sit down, calm down and keep myself dry while doing so. I made my way under the corrugated iron shelter and found myself a seat. Slowing my breathing and doing the best I could to calm down, I began to slowly become aware once again of the real world, of reality, as twisted as it appeared at the moment. As my mind began to wind down, I noticed the video was still playing. I hadn't paused it.
Story number 3. Locked out.
What? As Papa continued narrating, the realization began to wash over me. My keys were inside. I hadn't thought to grab them. Why would I? I left the door unlocked on my way out. But with everything else that had happened to me so far, I was in no mind to trust what I once knew to be logic. The story continued.
It was a dark and stormy night. And silly little me had locked myself out of the house. Such a pity. Oh, the little slip-ups we make when we're not thinking clearly. Whatever could have been the matter? What on earth would cause one to leave such a safe, warm, cozy hideout and go running off into the darkness? Cold, alone and exposed. Or perhaps it's not of this earth.
I felt like crying. I won't lie. Any tough guy front was long gone. I reached my front door and tried the handle. Damn it! I ran to the back door. Damn it! I ran around to the side door. Please, please, please. Damn it!
Oh well, on with the story. The next chapter in my little tale of terror goes like this. Like I said, it was a dark and stormy night. I had just realized I had locked myself out of my own house. I tried each door, one by one, to no avail. Beginning to panic, I started going around the house and trying each of the windows. I checked the first one, locked. Second one, locked. Third one, locked. Just as I was about to circle around to the other side of the house and check the rest of them, I began to hear noises in the shrubs behind me.
Oh, here we go again. Right on cue. Expected, but no less terrifying. A low, guttural growl from the garden at my 6 o'clock. I was frozen in place. I had no idea whether I should run or stay put. The thing, of which I could not see, continued producing that awful sound from within a large, thick bush, not even 3 meters behind me. It felt like the entire world had paused to seemingly drag this terrifying moment out for eternity. After what felt like hours, I decided getting out of there, slowly and steadily, so as not to startle whatever the hell it was probably my best option. I slowly put one foot in front of the other, carefully making my way around the side of the house,
trying to make as little noise as humanly possible. But as I crept, I could just feel something behind me. It was a primal instinct, like that felt by hunter-gatherers of Neanderthal age, as fierce predators stalked them from unseen corners. Unseen, but I knew for a fact that it was there, and that it was getting closer and closer. I finally made it around to the other side of the house. Praying to whatever or whoever would listen, I begged for a way inside. Just one window out of 3 is all I need. Perhaps I had forgotten to latch one shut. Perhaps my error would become my saving grace. I closed my eyes as I checked the first one. No dice. I slowly crept up to the second one, glancing around me in the darkness as I went. I couldn't see the thing, but then again, I had no idea what I was looking for. I placed my hands up against the strong security screen window that was usually my sense of safety, but was now my despair. As I slid it to one side, only to meet resistance yet again.
Shit! I cried out, realizing immediately my error as soon as I let the word fly from my mouth. Whatever it was, it heard me loud and clear. There was no denying it now. It was coming straight for me. I heard rapid footsteps behind me, pounding their way through the dirt. This is it then. Last chance. I slammed my hands up against the window this time, making no effort to conceal myself as there was no need to. I gripped the security screen and I pulled. Yes! Finally! Not wasting any time, I literally threw myself in through the window, landed face first on the hard tiled floor inside. There was no time to sweat over that, however, as the unseen menace outside continued racing towards me. I picked myself up, slammed the window closed and locked it, just in time to hear some invisible entity come crashing into it. I collapsed on the floor, panicked, exhausted, and out of my mind with fear. How had an otherwise ordinary night turned into this? I paced around my apartment, wondering what the hell I was supposed to do next. Before anything else, I once again checked all the doors, making sure they were locked, despite the fact that this was probably not going to do me any good. Whatever the hell was happening didn't seem to care too much for a locked door. But safety is so very often an illusion, is it not? And I needed that illusion right now. After checking that everything was locked tight, I took a seat on the couch and placed my head in my hands. Frustrated, exhausted, and out of options. One thing was for damn certain. I was not listening to any more of this video. I took out my phone, closed the YouTube app, and put my headphones away. Whatever this was, it seemed to be triggered by Papa's narrations somehow. No Papa, no scare, right? What the hell? How? I glanced around my apartment, looking for my phone. No, it was not coming from my phone. Somehow, it was coming out of that little grey Alexa speaker on my bedside. I shouted, "Alexa, stop playing!" Nothing happened. I shouted again, louder, "Alexa, stop playing!" This time something happened. Alexa spoke to me.
You need to finish the stories.
What? This can't be real. Nothing about this makes sense. Alexa spoke again.
You will finish the stories. You will finish the stories. You need to finish the stories. You need to finish the stories. You need to finish.
She was cut off by the loud, ominous laugh of none other. Yep, you guessed it. Papa's back.
Story number 4. Slice and Dice. My next story takes place just a little ways from the last. Not very far at all, in fact. A matter of mere feet. Feet. They are very useful little things now, aren't they? Perfect for running away or jumping through windows, for example. I was personally feeling very thankful to have my feet on this strangest of evenings as I sat upon my chair, The one place that held any semblance of safety or comfort. Or so I thought. For as I sat, that all too familiar sense of dread that had become quite the recurring theme began to fester inside me again. But why? I did not quite know, and that's when I heard it. Ever so faint, but unmistakable. The sound of deep, raspy breathing. And yet again, the feeling of hot breath on my skin. But not from behind me. No, this time, from underneath the couch. I sat frozen in fear once more. I could not move a muscle. It was as though I was literally stuck to the couch. Finally, summoning whatever ounce of strength I had left within me, I forced myself to rise. As I did, I felt many things. I felt a rush of adrenaline. I felt the fear within me turn to a newfound energy. I felt the pain from my earlier escapades fade from my mind. And lastly, I felt a cold, sharp blade slip through my Achilles tendon like a knife gliding through butter.
I screamed in pain and collapsed to the floor. Blood was everywhere as I dragged my useless body across the cold floor. I looked back, expecting to see some hooded, masked figure laying there under the couch, brandishing a knife. What I saw, however, was nothing. Absolutely nothing but empty space. I knew better than to presume safety just because I couldn't see whatever the hell it was trying to kill me, so I kept on crawling, dragging myself, inch by inch, away from that unseen, malevolent force. I dragged myself, ever so slowly, to my closet. Summoning a strength I did not know I had left inside me, I ripped the closet door open and pulled myself inside, closing it tight from the inside. I don't know why I was hiding. I don't know what good I thought it would do, but it was the only option I had left to me, I thought. The pain was unbearable, but I forced myself to remain quiet. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and quietly dialed 000. I knew the police were no help to me, but I sure as shit needed an ambulance, and quickly. Before I could connect the call, however, I heard it. Blasting out of my Alexa speakers, I heard it again. Whatever blood was left inside of me ran ice cold as I listened to Papa read out the title of the 5th and final story.
The night I met my death.
No! 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 No!